So I am here with a Terra Mystica game, and this game is being played in training mode. It is what Mr. Fickles has deemed to be the setup. So for those who don't know, basically the idea that he came up with was to have a setup that everyone played on every single time, or like consistently, so that we could develop some similar to like chess-like openings. So that means that we're always playing Chaos Magicians, Witches, Alchemists, and Halflings in this order, and we're always playing on this track with this set of pass tiles. Like basically, the idea is that playing in a consistent meta will kind of allow us to develop better feels for things, for how these discover how these factions interact in kind of a deeper way. Early on, the findings are basically that witches seem to be the best by around 5 points. Chaos Magicians are like the next most consistent faction, but I believe that alchemists have also shown themselves to be pretty strong here. Halflings tend to be the weakest here. However, they do get to start with the spade if they wish. In almost all the games that I've seen so far, Halflings open up with a Sanctuary in round 2, after taking like these 2 hexes here or something. Danny wants Alchemists pretty early. The meta that I think that we started to find is that Alchemists starting on b5 tends to be one of their best options. This actually inhibits Witches' town space, and it also secures their connection because they're starting on e5. Witches or Chaos Magicians can cut them off at b4 and b5 if Alchemists don't start on this hex. And just 1 second. I believe that that's what Danny is thinking of here. I've played all these factions in this setup. Well, I've never finished a Witches game. I'm currently playing like a turn-based one. B5 Alchemist does make Witches' lives a little harder, because that means that they don't get this town through here. That means that there's just more pressure to form both a town here and a town down here to make 3 towns. They're probably going to get this bridge town. I'll put one more on, which is here. Raph also likes witches. Okay. I still think Chaos Magicians are a little bit better than Alchemists. The thing about this setup that makes Chaos Magicians kind of appealing is that they're in first seat, and the ship scoring pass tile is probably the worst tile in the game. So they have a chance to just dig this gray hex with their first action. I'm going to put Chaos at 34. I think that they're probably more than 6 points better than Halflings, and then I'll be prepared to switch to Alchemists. Lustrous is already prepared to switch to Alchemists, so that makes sense. We've been bit off again. I was talking about switching over to Alchemists, but now that looks a little less appealing. Well, we can still do Alchemists. I have yet to play B5 Alchemists in this setup, and I think that B5 is definitely starting to emerge as kind of the new meta. Witches get either the priest or the spade, so they're like Alchemists almost always take the big building here. So I think that witches are going to be in a pretty strong spot no matter what. I do like seeing that. Like I think that Halflings, well, okay. I mean, Halflings almost always wind up getting taken at this point. And I just think that Halflings, it is possible that they deserve to be put down just a little more than this, on average. But we'll see. I mean, Ruff is a very strong player. I might be losing this anyway. And I think I'm pretty set on taking priests, the 2 workers, or the spade. So we're probably opening with a stronghold. So the options are kind of like E9 or C3, really. Um, C3 is cool just for like the leech from Chaos Magicians. And also, if Chaos Magicians don't take E7 with their first move, then they're liable to come up through C3, which is annoying. C3 also kind of puts pressure on Chaos Magicians, and it opens up this kind of like little bridge town here. In my turn-based game, I'm already playing C3, so let's just try E9. We'll try E9 to be a little different. So if we do go for 3 towns here, we're probably looking at a bridge town here for a sanctuary town. Maybe a town through either here or here. Probably I'm not getting this red hex, so more likely it's going to be through these hexes here, and then finally a town down through here. I've been left the priest. There's a case that the 6 coins is better. So the case for the 6 coins is that Chaos Magicians are probably going to be taking this, and then single digging E7 with their first action. However, like the meta is generally that Chaos Magicians take this tile and then single dig E7 with their first action, just because losing this stretch to Witches is so bad. And if that's the case, then taking the 6 coins is fine. But I think that just taking the priest is also good. So I'm just going to stick with the priest. Both the priest to air and the priest to water are pretty good here, I think. I think that there's a case to be had for Fire 1 Witches instead of the Stronghold Witches. Over here, assuming that Chaos takes this hex, this is likely to be a 3 hex town anyway. So it's not such a bad thing to have our sanctuary here. So if I put a temple here for Fire 1, send the priest off to Fire, then I'm prepared to advance ship for the Dwellings round, where I will definitely want to advance ship. Because then I'll actually have priest production and coins. I can try like priest to Fire plus Fire 1 means that I have a good shot at having enough coins and workers to put up the sanctuary in round 2. It puts me at a deficit of scoring favors, but the setup contains all 4 of the scoring pass tiles in. So I think that these stacked late trading post events should be good for economic games. So we are going to play here, and I don't think anyone's going to, once someone buys the priest, then I'm going to send a priest off to Fire, but in the absence of anyone taking the priest power action, I don't think anyone's going to 5-power priest to Fire. They could just take, 2 workers and get 2 workers instead of 5 power. Yeah, this is also part of the new meta. Alchemists upgrading up in the north alone to put their stronghold town in this area is kind of part of the new meta as well. This hex can just take a little bit of leech from halflings, and it can just come up through here. Chaos Magicians are being handed double dig, Danny has noted. So I think that what's likely is we're going to get E7 and then maybe a dig onto C3. This is part of the weird thing about this matchup. Halflings are, quote, supposed to start on the spade. They just wind up taking C3, period. This is kind of an interesting move, and I don't think that this is good. I think that what Lustrous meant was to dig E7 and then put this guy to the gray. He's probably going to undo this. Yeah. We're probably going to see this double spade onto E7 and then turn C3 gray. Yeah, there we go. So this is a bummer. This is part of the reason why I wish that maybe I had started on C3. I wouldn't have gotten the double dig, but I just would have had 1 more hex. And just having 1 fewer hex is a huge bummer. Priest goes to fire. There's the stronghold. We'll see if Rafa buys the priest here. I find it, yeah, Rafa does immediately just snap off the priest. I think there was a case where you need to buy the priest and send priest to fire and priest to air. That would have been pretty cool, I think. But it's okay. We're just going to make a temple for now. That'll give us 2 extra workers, and then that should put us in position to put up a stronghold next round. Fire 1, probably Earth 2, I would think. Just makes it a little easier to put up that stronghold safely. It's Air 2, okay. Don't think that that's quite as good for Lustrous, because it means that, like, it does mean that he won't have the stuff to build a dwelling after he makes his sanctuary next round. But we can see what happens from there. Taking fire 1. Danny took 2 workers. It's not really clear where he's going from here. Generally, you'd like to advance ship twice as alchemists, but because he took the 2 workers, he can't really do that. This might then be a temple for Earth 1 or something. Yeah, so one of the nice parts about Chaos Magicians is that if you do go with this single dig line, then you wind up passing first and you get the 7 coins tile. It's like relatively low downside. I'm trying to figure out if I want to bridge here. I could bridge and build a dwelling. Rafa has at least 1, 2, 3, at least 3 more moves left for Rafa. He can make a temple, dig 2 stuff down. Alchemists have God knows how many moves left, which means I'm getting kind of a lame pass tile. So the question is this actually worth it for me to build this bridge and dwelling? I think the answer is yes, because I want this bridge anyway. Like, I simply just want this bridge. I want G3. And then I'm going to be passing on to this guy, almost certainly. So that'll give me the 3 coins I need to put up. So this is 10, right? Minus 2 is 8. I need 9 to put up my stronghold. But passing on to this gives me 3 extra. So that comes up with a deficit that I need. So here we go. Our sanity check is done. These are the 2 more desirable pass tiles, but it does look like I'm a little too slow to get them. Maybe if I had bought the priest, I would have been in a better spot, but alas, that is not the case. Danny is indeed going for a temple here. I have had a few stronghold temple games, but they don't always, like, I had 1 stronghold temple game with the setup, but I had my stronghold here on G5 kind of crowding halflings. What wound up happening in that game was that I got cut off by witches here. I think I might have still managed 2nd or 3rd that game, but it's pretty tough as alchemist to get cut off and lose network. Here's Rafa slow playing it. I think that he wants to get onto this tile very badly. Halflings are in by far the best leech position in this game, so Rafa is probably going to take the coins next. Once he takes the coins, then he should be able to outstall Danny and get onto this tile, which means that he can open the sanctuary for like all the points next round, which is fantastic, of course. Committing to putting my stronghold here is a bit of a bummer because it means that I do need to make a pretty expensive dig town here. It's going to be a 4 dig town. And with both Chaos Magicians and Alchemists and Halflings, like, they're all likely to try to crowd my space here. So we'll have to figure that part out. But that is a future consideration. Danny is trying to figure out whether he wants Earth 2, Fire 1, or Earth 1. I would probably just take Earth 1 here, because it's going to be a while before he makes his next temple. But Earth 2 definitely has better economy implications. Danny would probably want to pass on to my priest. That way he could advance ship twice and grab a worker's action, which would let him build 3 dwellings. So he'll probably end next round with A8, B3, C1, at this temple here. He takes Fire 1. With 9 points of income per round, alchemists are going to be in like a low coin down conversion situation, which is pretty nice. We are just going to pass on to this tile. This is not a great tile, but we're taking it anyway. Rafa points out that it was a Fire 1 rush, so this means that halflings are probably taking Air 2, which I think is great too. I mean, Air 2 is going to be fantastic. It's almost as good as Fire 1 anyway. It immediately comes with 1 coin here, or like, yeah, this is 1 coin at the worst. Then because he bumps up to here, and he gets a worker out of it. So, like, even if he never gets a coins action because of Air 2, it's already a great position to be in. And there's the coins action that we predicted. Rafa manages to get onto this hex, which is cool. Take that. We could try to cut him off at G2 now that he's burned up all his power, but that doesn't seem that good. We could also stronghold or like sanctuary here. I didn't even consider that line. I don't think it's good though, so I'm not going to do it. I think that I am just going to build the. I'm just going to build the stronghold, and then I'm going to fly down to I-11 and hope that Rafa has better things to do than cut me off at I-10. Because if he does that, then I take G2, and we're both just unhappy. Water 2. Water 2 is way better. Water 2 is way better than what, guys? Than Fire 1. I guess Water 2 actually could have been better than Fire 1. You're not wrong about that. But I think that Fire 1 is just good because it does ensure that I get this stronghold out, and the round 2 cult benefit is very low from it. I would get this and this out of Water 2 as well, which is kind of cool. For alchemists. Yeah, Water 2 for alchemists actually would have been legitimately good. It legitimately would have been better than Fire 1, I think. Fire 1 is just 15 victory points, right? Maximum. Fire 1 is an upside at 15 victory points and a worker. Water 2 probably is going to be worth, Water 2 is 1 priest and probably 1 worker. Plus, maybe the 8 points that it's going to get him on the cults. Possibly more than 8 points, so I agree. Priest and worker are very good benefits to get for alchemists with Water 2. Especially what I've noticed by playing Stronghold Temple Alchemists is that, especially at the landscape, your priests don't get on the cults at all. You just don't get your priests on the cults this way. Chaos Magicians this looks like they're just trying to lock up Earth 1 or something. It's not clear to me why Chaos Magicians are sanctuarying before sending a priest off to water. I suspect, I could suspect 2 things. One is that he's afraid of an Earth 1 rush. That seems kind of ridiculous given that Danny has done this. I think that this from Danny can't really mean he's going to sanctuary for Earth 1. Look at his economy. The other option, of course, is that Lustrous just wants to have a really fast round. Lustrous wants to pass on to the spade, because that's a really good tile for him next round, getting on to E8. That said, I don't think that he actually needs that badly. But yeah, there's Earth 2, Earth 1. We will send Priest to water. I think that this is a valuable cult. There is like the vague chance that we're able to afford a priest to water again, and if not, we can still live with that. Oh, of course, that's what Danny was up to. So he's gonna be able to build this hex now. Here's here's the sanctuary for Earth One as well. Lustrous is hilariously being handed even more spades that he can't use. Um, I would think that dropping a priest onto the Earth track is a better use of it right now, but who am I to say? I need to decide if I think that coins are better. Oh no, I'm not getting the spades. Right, sorry. Danny already took the spades. Alright, so I'm just going to take the coins, right? I think I'm going to have workers this game, so yeah, I just want coins. Danny gets workers. Danny doesn't have any means to... Here's another place where Water 2 would have been good. Water 2 would give Danny the leech that he needs in order to buy the priest and advance his ship even more. But right now he can't afford that. He's one power short of being able to buy the priest. So let's add that to the Water 1 camp, or Water 2 camp. I'm certainly not going to give Danny any leech. I'm not a savage. But yeah, I am a little worried about stranding the stronghold here. It doesn't look like much more leeches coming from me, so I do need to think about if this town can really happen. It's possible that this is just a two towns game as well. Like, making a town down through here is an option, and then I don't like do this I-11 nonsense, but... We're off to having a bit of a thing. Yeah, so Lustrous did wind up putting Priest to Earth and passing on to the Spade quickly. So no surprises there. Lustrous will have 4 workers to play next round, so he'll probably try to buy a Priest advanced ship twice, and then get A6, E8, D6, D7, something like that. Surely he has to realize that G2 is gone. There's also a chance that he manages to get to D3 this round. Getting D3 is always nice as a CM because then you're likely to be able to carve this town. Beating Alchemist to D3 is important. You're usually not beating Halflings to G2. Oh, that's a pass from Halflings onto the Priest. This might be a dig round for Priests, for Halflings. Maybe I can put some pressure on G2 then, while they're trying to advance digs, but I guess I won't really have the workers because I'm doing this. And I am going to fly down to I-11. The fact that this hex wasn't built means that I'll be the beneficiary of some leech here, which is appreciated. It looks like I'm also getting to pass onto the Stronghold Sanctuary tile, which is cool. Wow. I did not expect that. I guess Danny's passing onto this because I can't not use my flight. It's too insane not to use my flight. Well, I didn't expect that, I have to say. But this is cool. This is cool because now Danny gets to pass onto the Stronghold Sanctuary tile and get 8 points and 2 workers off of it. Uh, well, that's unfortunate. So I'm wondering now, how contested is the single dig action? If I pass onto this, could I advance my ship, single dig c5, and then build c4 a10? That might be a little too greedy. I think I just kind of need to secure I10 as well. Uh, but I've been badly losing this passing game, which has hurt us. Lustrous takes some more spades. This points to taking a ship town or a work. I guess this is a workers town. I guess from Lustrous. Oh no, just kidding. It can just be c3, d6, d7. Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. Don't do this at home, kids. Danny says holy workers. Yeah, that's correct because he's just going hard here. He's going to advance his digs and build G2. He's probably going to build G4, possibly G5, F7, something like that. Hopefully we can keep this hex here. We're going to make sure that we get this hex here. It looks like Danny's not really threatening E10, so I'm just gonna float this territory here. I know that I am getting CM as a neighbor here, so need this hex. This hex gets me a little bit of leech. This game is going kind of disastrously right now. You like the priest to water, not the ship pass tile. Yeah, that's a fair point. So what I can do here is I can hard dig this and then fly here. That might be a bad use of my workers though. Flying to c4 is also just an option, but there is just a chance that I lose this hex if I don't take it now. So Rafa has advanced dig a single time. I gotta say, that Danny has one action left. So, or he has one action left, right? So I want to be ready to pass on to his tile. Lustrous has two actions left, so I think that I may be able to. No, I'm not gonna. We're just gonna do this. I don't think Rafa is gonna dig this hex on me. He still has he still has an advanced digs all the way up, so. We got some happy leech. Rafa also wants the leech, so that's why he's building h6 here. Or h7 rather. So he's going to get extra leech from h6. Okay, so we're going to fly to h6 here. And this now puts us in position to pass for Danny's tile, which I think is what we want. Lustrous needs to figure out where to use a spade. I would probably take c2 if I were Lustrous here. Nope, he takes c5, which is okay. I don't think that this is a great play. This is setting up a town here, but I think that d3 is better because, or c2 is better because it gets him to d3, which can open up some interesting possibilities. But in any case, Lustrous is set up very, very well going into future rounds, and I have just kind of botched it. Yeah, this is not looking great for me. I think passing onto this tile I think it might be time to sanctuary for water 1. Like, the fact that we have this few workers is really, really not ideal. So I think I might be sanctuarying for water 1 and then making a TP on I-10. Double spading H4 and H8 here. So I think that that's the plan. As long as I can, I don't think that I should get locked. There's no chance that I can get locked out of water 1 by taking a spade, 2 spades to start the round. H8 and H4. So I think that that's the play. I can also say goodbye to this stronghold town, probably. Rafa's just going to dig through F6 or G6, F7, E10 here, I think. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 workers, which you can easily afford. I think that G2 is probably also good for Rafa to take right now. Yeah, this is kind of coming to a disaster right now. He has no shipping, so I don't need to be too worried here. Yeah, this points deficit is insane. It's absolutely insane. Like, I haven't even got him back up to 40, and I don't have Earth 1. And I've barely built any structures. Oh, shit. Here comes the ship advance. Well, okay, so this town is dead. I mean, I guess I don't know that he's coming to H8, H4 instead of I8, but... He locks up his own town instead. Okay, so I think the responsible thing to do here is to dig H4 and I think I float H8. We'll dare Rafa to take H8 from us. And if he does, then that's okay. Best halfling strike that you've seen. Yeah, this is absolutely insane from Rafa here. I expect Danny to rush water 1. So I think that the area where I could probably just look to improve the most in my game, like with the setup, is probably the pass tiles. I did manage to get onto this tile, but that's mostly luck rather than skill. Lustrous is actually building a dwelling, which means that I continue to have tempo on water 1. Which means that I am able to build H8 here if I... I also might get coins here. Is it possible I could get coins here? No, because I'm going to feed Rafa like a mother-loaded leech. So... So I can fly to H8 now. Yep, Rafa is playing ball with me right now, so I'm going to take him up on that. Danny is wondering how the hell Fickle's won with alchemists like this. I mean, to be fair, Danny has a ton of points. He hasn't even advanced his digs yet, so here's a town, probably a workers' town from Danny. Maybe a priest town. Yeah, it's a priest town. That's cool. I think we can officially do this now. Wait. Oh shit. We didn't use our flight? That was a mistake. Okay, so that was totally intended to be a flight onto H8. So I apologize for that mistake to anyone who wanted to see like good play. So I think what's happening here is one priest is going to water and the other priest is just being turned into a worker. So I can make a TP. I don't think that I can really end this round without a TP. I'm going to build I6 with my flight here. I think that that's probably the best move if Rafa doesn't take I6 now. We're probably getting a TP here for the 2 key town. I have to imagine that Lustrous is going to make a TP for the 2 key town now. I don't really see any reason why he hasn't done that yet already, but he might be concerned about like losing territory up here to alchemists and halflings, but they really have very little reason to do that. The coins finally go to Rafa. That's hilarious. He took like all this leech, and it finally happened. Lustrous is now in position to grab the final copies of Water 1. Final copy of Water 1. This probably should happen here. This lets us keep a dream alive of double spading E10 on the cults, and then I'm just 2 more spades away from a 3rd town. It's not a great dream. It's a pretty humble dream, but I don't think it's awful. I think that this is Water 1, but Lustrous could also, like, one thing that Lustrous could do is he could just make a TP here, build these 2 hexes up here, and then next round, just assume that Rafa's not going to, yeah. I think that this is basically Lustrous betting that, actually, never mind, it's not that important. That might be a false thought that I just had. Anyway, we've got 2 structures greater than a dwelling off our board. I guess to be fair, no, Rafa has all these workers still. Rafa takes a priest. Don't know what that's about necessarily. I think I'm taking I6 here. Um, I6 is slightly better than I9. I just need to stay focused right now because I think I'm getting a little distracted. Danny is just passing on to like a million more points, which is great for him. He's at 2 ship right now. He has not advanced digs yet. Okay. This makes us a little more comfortable. Yeah, so Lustrous is kind of delaying his decision on what to do about his. Oh, wait, hold on. Sorry, there's no pressure on Water 1. I didn't realize that. Okay. Never mind. Never mind. So, yeah, Danny's first move is going to be Temple for Water 1, if he's allowed to. So, yeah, one of these two guys, if they don't take it now, is going to miss out on Water 1. My points have continued to go negative this round. Do we want to save our priest for cults? I think that Danny is not going to really fight cults, so I can afford to do this. I think that's what I can afford to do. I should be able to take workers and put my priest to fire and still be okay. Like, that's what all this leech is for, right? So I can do stuff like that. No one's taking workers here. There's no way that Lustrous takes workers right now. This opens us to the 2-for-1 from Rafa when he either temples for Water 1 or makes a TP. For probably just an 8-pointer at this point. Maybe a priest if he's interested in shipping a little more. He's been floating I9 as well, which, I mean, we could get interested in I9, right? Why shouldn't we get interested in I9? I can think of a good reason. Lustrous is passing. So Lustrous is essentially saying here, I think, that he values the 4 points from making a temple here, and he's going to bet that Rafa doesn't want a temple now, which I think is a reasonable bet. I think that my temple next round is probably for Fire 2. I think I take Fire 2 in a Cult Town next round. That actually puts him pretty close to closing Fire. And if I can then pass on to this, that would be pretty amazing. Okay, so Rafa's not taking Water 1, which means that Lustrous should be able to get Water 1, which is good for him. Cool. We're getting this. Rafa's taking Workers Town, which probably means that 2 more TPs are getting built here, and he's going to take Air 1 next round. Okay. we are getting to pass onto this, so that's cool. That puts us in very good position to get a pass tile. Well, it puts us in reasonable position to get a pass tile the final round as well. But since everyone has a pass tile here, it's a little tricky. We're doing this. I know that it puts us in jeopardy here, but I don't want Chaos Magicians getting spicy and double digging 10, so here's the Water 1 rush. I don't think that we're going to see a Fire 2 rush very soon, so my first move is to fly. Just lock up my flight. Oh, Lustrous passes up on Water 1 as well. Okay, fine. We're flying here. Alright, so we're going to find out what this temple is for. It could be Air 1, it could be it's Water 1. Okay, so Chaos Magicians are losing out on Water 1, basically entirely by choice, which I think is quite interesting. Yeah, definitely an interesting decision. Just pass up something like that. Honestly, I probably shouldn't need Fire 2 to close to make these towns. Maybe the correct thing to do is Air 1 and close things out a different way, but I think I just want the tempo on towns. So let's start off by securing this hex. I don't think there's any rush on Fire 2 currently. Yeah, Danny can't take Fire 2 right now. So we're going to grab this hex here. Maxes out our dwellings, that's good. I'm arrogantly going to say that since I have all these workers coming in next round, I don't need to worry that much. Danny has not advanced its digs yet, so I'm not that concerned there either. Next round he's going to advance digs twice and probably carve out this town and call it a 9 structures alchemist game or something. It's pretty radical, but I mean, it's paying off pretty well. This is probably a little too much for me to take at this point in the game. Yeah, this might be too much now. You know, it's true. It's Terra Mystica. In Terra Mystica, like, the answer is to take Leech when you can. We'll figure out the rest of this stuff later. Lustrous is probably responding with Fire 3 here, I would imagine. It's the prudent thing to do. Taking an 8-pointer. I think that I might have triggered Rafa for Fire 2 here. He takes Air 1. Okay. So this is looking a little... No, it's still a 3 towns halflings game. Yeah. This halflings game can still do 3 times. Okay, cool. Danny has passed, which means that we are going to get a pass tile in the final round. That's very relieving. Um, yeah, I'm definitely happy to see that. Lustrous does lock out the fire cult like he's supposed to. No surprises there. We're going to advance our ship, but I think that we can afford to steal a priest. No, we don't need to stall anymore. We don't need to stall, so I think that we advance our ship and then get prepared to pass, probably. Probably passing time. If I could temple for Air 1, then I would, but I can't. So we're going to be making probably 4 TPs next round, building E11, taking 2 towns, and then advancing ship twice and just hoping that that's somehow enough. We know that it's not, but, we can fantasize. So that's the plan. We will open with coins as well. We didn't say it, but that is the plan there. Rafa locks up his spot so that he will get a 3rd town. I think he does need... No, he doesn't need Fire 2 if he gets G6. And obviously I can't take G6 away from him, so Rafa is getting 3 towns in this halflings game, which is absolutely disgusting. It's an absolutely disgusting halflings game. Lustrous is winning the cults. He's gonna... Oh, he can't take Air 3 here. So he chose to lock me out over halflings, which is something that he's allowed to do. I guess he took out Earth over halflings, but he's going to shoot up the water track, which is also something that you're allowed to do, but he doesn't have Fire 2, so this town is going to be slow to make. I should be able to close this out at some point. All I need to do is just make sure I get a priest town. Danny gets offered a little leech, which he does take. Danny has 2 dig advances coming, and some towns. Not even sure that dig advances are good for Danny. But we'll see. So this town is 2 actions away. I've got a... Well, he also can't close it out right away, so... Okay. Lustrous is targeting Rafa instead of me, which seems to be correct, because Rafa is winning this game by far. Unless Lustrous has decided to play for 2nd or 3rd or something, which doesn't seem like he has yet. So, Lustrous actually lacks neighbors to make cheap TPs, which is a little awkward. I think that the 8-pointer is slightly better than the priest town for me, because I would I need to send a priest to water anyway, I think. So Ralpha just locks out air. Okay. So there are no water favors left that Chaos Magicians can use. So even if they get their town, they still need some other stuff to go their way before they can just seize it. So I think I am getting this 8-point town then. Lustrous is just going to go for his town. I guess he's probably going to get the 8-point town. Like, then in that case, I'll just take the priest town, which I'm okay with as well, I think. Let's give Ralph some free reach. This is probably just G6 or something. Yep, it is. I think I'll take 2 for 1s, but not 3 for 2s. And I think that F7 is coming next. Lustrous does that, sure. He gave me time to get the town that I want, so. Finally got this. This is interesting. Rafa doesn't build F7 first. Ooh, that's cool from Lustrous. With a lack of neighbors, he winds up doing this instead of making TPs. I think this actually kind of makes sense because he doesn't have water 1, so these TPs are actually like not quite as good for Lustrous as they would be for anyone else. And he doesn't have neighbors, of course, so that's the other reason. So this gets locked up. Okay, so the 11 pointer is gone. Another town is going to disappear very quickly. It looks like the priest town is still there. We have, I think we can afford a hard dig. Yeah. Oh, we can't take a priest town right now. Okay. Let's see. Rafa probably snaps off a priest town right away. So I'm actually going to do this. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to take the priest town. I think that the priest town is still better than workers' towns at the moment. Don't know if this was correct, but I don't think it was terrible. So we've got a flight left, we've got 2 TPs, and we've got 2 ship advances. Then if we can manage to build A10, then we will. And if we can't, then we can't. Or C4, like either of those. Rafa is taking workers' towns. It's a 3 for 2, which I don't want. My thing is that I don't really know if my hexes are going to still be there for me, so if they're not, then I won't push it that hard. I'm going to get this 2 for 1, and I probably will take that. Rafa is playing as if he wants all this leech, which, fine by me, I guess. I don't think he needs as many structures as he's planning for. But like, since he has all the scoring favors, he might as well, right? He has 2 TPs to come here, and then he'll just dig G1 and build H3, something to that effect. Here comes the strongholds effect. Hopefully none of it involves taking the double spade and denying me C4 or something, but you never know. Ah, it's a dig action. Nice. Dig advance, rather. I think that's probably it for Illustrious. I'll fly to A10. I'm going to prefer to fly to A10, I think, so. Okay. Fly up here. Danny should not want this leech. Witches are, like, quote, supposed to win network here, and I have failed on that job, so apologies to all who are hoping for better from there. Still not taking this leech. Like, I think that right now, so just to like play devil's advocate about this leech, right? The upside to taking all this leech is that maybe I can afford to get out to 15 structures, and I can tie Rafa in network, but that's going to be 3 points of network. Like, I don't think that alchemists are getting that much, and chaos magicians have already beaten in network. So, what good does it do me to like pay like 6 points in leech to get for the privilege of 3 network points? It's a swing of 3 against Rafa, but I've already lost versus Rafa by like a huge margin, so I don't think that I still need to consider that any longer. So alchemists probably don't have much reason to dig C4, so alchemists probably want to build their own network. So I think that they probably just dig D2, E2, E1, then maybe make a TP on B3 or something. Whatever it takes to beat CM in network. The 2 for 1. So okay, this might actually require me to do some math here. So the dwelling is, I'm spending down to 4 and 6 for 2 more TPs. Then I'm spending all of this. So then I would have 2 and 2 left over. So this doesn't actually get me anything. So we decline. It's coin town because there's no workers left. Okay, cool. Cool. So now we can do this again. So it looks like we're going to beat Chaos Magicians here. I'm not too surprised by that. Chaos Magicians took a lot of spades early, but if you've taken that many spades, then you really should try to play at least a little more networky. I think at CM we're left every opportunity to get D3 and E3, and if they got that, like, they're losing A9, but then they have access to like G1, I5, H1, I11, and then they have neighbors for this town. So I think that was probably a misstep for CM to like rush out here, and they had too many spades and not enough shipping. That's my read on this game. But apologies, I should be making my move instead of criticizing someone who I barely beat. This dwelling actually it's not clear this dwelling is actually any good. I arguably should not have done that. Yeah, this dwelling is probably no good. It probably just cost me a victory point for no real reason, because Danny was never getting out to 13 network. And yeah, and Lustrous is never stopping at 14. Or Rafa, rather, is not stopping at 14. Yeah, because he has B2 here. There's nothing that a priest gets me. Like, I could have bought the priest power action or something, but it doesn't get me anything. We advance ship one more time. And that is our game. $131 plus 16, 147 plus 12, 159. All right, so I mean, Rafa absolutely smoked us. I think that no one's even coming to this after the endgame scoring, but he also has the most endgame points, which is just absolutely insane. So I guess this is kind of like a classic Witches thing, where you have a lot of hidden points in the middle of the game if your game is going well economically speaking, and if you're set up to score at the end with like this and this. However, in the end, Rafa's game was just unbelievable. To be able to dig that many times in round 3 on a dwelling scoring round is, and get all the scoring favors, and do well in the cults, and win network outright. It's pretty spectacular. This is probably one of the best games that I've seen, and this is easily the best game that I've seen in like the setup. Yeah, easily. Like, look at the spread of scores. Me, Danny, and Lustrous are actually not spread out that much. If I don't get this town, then clearly I'm very competitive with these guys, right? Like, one priest less, and that priest town is 14 points, so I'm like tied with Lustrous without that town. So yeah, I think this was a cool game. chatting here. Just chatting a little bit about what I thought Lustrous could have done. Honestly, I think Danny's game was pretty cool. So the two of us played slowly, which makes sense. I mean, I'm on stream. Lustrous, I don't think, has played a ton of this setup. So yeah, we can do a quick review of this, I guess. So we'll do like scores less the leech and stuff. So Rafa scored 158 points. I scored, what's this, 128 points. So he's outscored me by 30. And then Chaos Magician's here at 112. And this is 103. So yeah, pretty huge gaps here from halflings to everyone else. How do we score our points? We did okay on the track. Like, this is kind of parity with everyone else. Honestly, like, the way that these guys scored to their favors, the water one doesn't look so bad. We passed quite well. We founded high-value towns. And then we got a good spread of stuff at the end game. So yeah, I think that this was actually a pretty solid Witches game. It's just, it's very hard to compete with a Halflings game that goes off like this. This is absolutely, yeah, this is pretty insane. Okay, hope you guys enjoyed this edition of the setup. I am probably going to play like a bullet game as people are discussing here. But hopefully this is educational and taught us something about halflings taking the priest, not overvaluing the double dig, and just doing good things. Until next time, see you guys.